Don't be so serious about it. There's nothing serious going on. Do you know, if you didn't know anything about anything that we say to you ever, if you hadn't read any books, there are a lot of them. If you hadn't listened to any recordings, there are so many of them, you'd need another lifetime to hear them. If you'd never heard anything from us or anyone that knows anything that we know, your life would teach you all of this just naturally because of the setup. You were born into contrast, which causes you to ask automatically. Step one is taken care of. You don't need a class about that any more than you need a class on gravity. Children, there is gravity in the world, and we need you to know about it. Nothing falls up. In other words, life just teaches you about gravity. Do you remember your mother sitting down and saying that to you? Here's a ball, and if you let go of it, it's going to go down there. Now watch. Did she say any of those words? Or did you just pick up the ball and notice what it did naturally with the law of gravity? Consistent, beautiful law of gravity, which you've learned to navigate within. So this consistent, lovely law of attraction, it just does its thing. You don't have to know about it. And source answers every time, and you don't have to know about that. So your vibrational reality, this vibrational version of everything that you want and everything that you become, just keeps amassing more and becoming more and being the confident, successful, everything that you're reaching for. It just bees that and just offers a signal to you all day, every day. Here we are, remember us? Remember all that we've become together? Here we are, emanating everything that we are. Here we are, talking about you and your inner being. Here we are, confident, happy, appreciative, loving. Here we are. But you notice mostly where you're not here where we are when you're somewhere else. When you feel negative emotion, that's when you have your most knowledge about the existence of this vibrational reality. Because you couldn't feel bad if we didn't feel so good. You couldn't feel hate if there were not so much love over here. You couldn't feel unprosperous if there were not so much prosperity here amassed for you. If there were not this vibrational relationship that is so vibrationally connected to you, you could never feel negative emotion, which means every bit of negative emotion that you feel is such a good thing because it's evidence of how far you've come and how much you are, you see. And then, as you know those things and you find the relief of lining up with who you really are, and then you begin to watch the evidence of that alignment, that's when you really begin to be who you knew you would be when you got here. But no one needs to tell it to you because negative emotion just doesn't feel good. Doesn't it seem natural that you would gravitate toward things that do feel good? In other words, does somebody need to say to you, that doesn't feel good, so stop doing that? It's like the hot stove. Oh man. That's bad. That is so painful. Is there a book around here somewhere that says what I should do? There should be some information somewhere about how long can this go on? Do you know what I should do? You don't know? Does anyone know? Does anyone have any idea what I should do? It doesn't work that way, does it? You went, Nobody had to tell that to you more than about 10 times. The stove is hot. In other words, you naturally gravitate toward things that feel good and away from things that don't feel good. If left to your own clarity and your own devices, you just do not wrap yourself around things that do not feel good. You just don't. You don't. We know this seems absurd to you, but you know what? You do that. Do you ever watch CNN? That's, so no one needs to tell you what feels good and what doesn't feel good. But somehow you've lost your ability to give yourself permission to gravitate toward what feels good, which means you're not utilizing your guidance system in the way that you meant to, which is exactly what you wanted to talk to us about today. Why would anyone give up your natural guidance system? We know that if someone said to you, you might not want to touch that, and you say, oh, you're right, or nope, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong. Well, there are a lot of people that are advising you in a lot of ways, but don't you have your own internal guidance system that lets you know what's best for you? The better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets. What happens is, because no one needs to teach you this, because you can't go wrong, because you can't stop asking, and Source will never stop answering, and you will never stop knowing whether you're in vibrational sync with who you really are. Once you have this very basic understanding in place, life's going to go better for you forevermore. All you've got to do is accept one very important premise. If negative emotion is present, you and your inner being, who has evolved to this clear-minded, pure, positive energy being, are in disagreement about this. So just stop and ask yourself, what is the conversation that I'm having? I don't like me. Oh, that doesn't feel good. I don't like me. I don't like me, and I don't like you. And I think you should be different than you are. And I think I should be different than I am. And I think government should definitely be different than it is. And I think the world should do a better job of making things good for me. And I think the conditions should change so that I can feel happy. You have all of these things that every time you think them, it hurts more than putting your hand on a hot stove. And yet, because there are so many around, it's like there's a cluster of people standing around with their hands on hot stoves everywhere you look. And now the conversation's all about how to cool the stove down and how to move stoves out of the way so that nobody has to burn their hands on them, and how to make some laws about the hot stoves, and how to cook things without any heat, and how to just eat raw things. Don't eat anything that needs any heat required, and put the stoves where the children can't find them. And never mind making sense of your world. Change the world. Change all the conditions of the world so that you can just blunder around and not hurt. And we say, you came because you want to use the power of your focus to focus yourself into alignment with the knowledge that is within you. And when you do, you will have such clarity and such confidence and such insight and such timing that you could navigate in a world that was mostly only hot stoves everywhere you went and still thrive. You would say, bring it on. Bring on the contrast. Because resistance along my trail, there's always a path of lesser resistance, and I can always find my way. We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. Satisfied? Really good. Really good. Really good.